Waigajika Kalsa, Waigajiki Fate. Gursan Singh here. This is June 18th. Beautiful morning, about 8 a.m. in the morning. And I'm up here at the entrance to the Santa Clara Peak Road. Now, this is the road that goes up to the 3HO or Bhajanist summer solstice site. This is where they have their summer solstice sadhana, they call it. And I'll show you, you can see the Sangre de Cristo Mountains there in the background on that side. And then in this direction, you can see the Jemez Mountains there. And that's the beginning of the Santa Clara Peak Road. It goes up about 5 or 6 miles to where these Bhajanists have their summer solstice. They're calling it Raj Yog Festival this year. Now, it rained last night, which is really great because here, we haven't had any rain here in Espanola for about 4 months. It's been really, really dry. So it was a real blessing to have this rain. And you can probably see over here in the valley, you can see the clouds over the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. It's really pretty. Anyway, so I'm here today to protest this Yogi Bhajan Memorial Highway that is right there, New Mexico State Road 106. And I want to approach anybody who comes up this road to the Ramdas Puri, they call it, or this summer solstice site. And my understanding is that about 200 people have signed up for this Raj Yoga Festival. I talked to one yoga student who stopped by when we were protesting yesterday at the corner of 84, 285 and 106. And he had heard about these accounts of how Yogi Bhajan abused people and how he raped women and sexually attacked them. And he didn't think much of it. That was very interesting. So I want to talk to him more today. I got his phone number. And he said, what does it matter what Yogi Bhajan did as long as the yoga works, is what he said. My argument on that is that Yogi Bhajan was Kundalini Yoga. He created it. And why would anybody think that if you did the Kundalini Yoga, you wouldn't be just like him? I mean, you wouldn't go to a rapist for marriage counseling. I mean, that's exactly the same analogy, I believe. Anyway, so I'll talk to him more today, and I hope to talk to more people as they come up this road. There was already one person that came. He was wearing a white turban, white clothing. So he was probably one of these hardcore Bhajanists. Because for all of you who don't know, this event today was not 3HO officially sanctioned. This event this week, it's all going this week, is being hosted by a group of hardcore Yogi Bhajan loyalists. They're deniers of any of these accounts of abuse that have been shown to be very credible. It's like over 100 women who have come forward that have said that Yogi Bhajan has abused them. I've talked to some of them personally, and it all makes very much sense. I worked for Yogi Bhajan for some 30 years, both in Los Angeles and in Espanola. I worked as his bodyguard. I worked giving him, chauffeuring him around. I know for a fact that I used to take him up to what's called the estate, where this Pamela Dyson had a room. I used to take him up there in the middle of the night when I was, quote, savadaring, or doing this volunteer service where I would answer the phone in the middle of the night there at the 1620 Pruce Road. So he was only wearing his cacheras, and he used to wear this brown shawl that he used to throw over himself. And so I had this tan Mazda station wagon that they gave me secretariat there, or the Yogi Bhajan organization, so that I could take him places, and I could do errands. Mostly it was for doing errands for the secretaries and things like that. I was only in my early 20s back then, so I was completely naive to any of this. And so he would cram into that little Mazda, I totally recall. Then I'd shuttle him up there, and there would be nobody else around. So I'm sure he didn't want anybody else to know that he was going to go to this estate where Pamela had her room there. And a lot of the other secretaries lived there too at this estate. So I definitely have personal accounts of this actions by Yogi Bhajan. Anyway, so there goes somebody by. They're not, doesn't look like they're associated with the yoga group. This road accesses the mountains up there. It goes up 27 miles. Actually, I think it goes all the way to Los Alamos. So it's used by people who do logging and that like to hike up there too, by the way. So I have many accounts of how Yogi Bhajan abused people. I witnessed Yogi Bhajan violently kicking this young man there that was resting in the Guru Ram Das ashram, they called it. This is the Gurdwara there. Now, Yogi Bhajan's residence was attached to the ashram. It was right there. It was just one door between his residence and the Gurdwara. This is at 1620 Pruce Road. So he would come out from time to time, and like I said, I did a lot of this seva, answering the phones there. And so this young man, he had some mental health problems. And I know that. Anyway, so Yogi Bhajan came out, and he just violently started kicking him around the room. And the young man was just scrambling around trying to get out of Yogi Bhajan's way. And Yogi Bhajan just persisted until the young man just finally got out of his way and just ran out. I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, there's instances like that that were very disturbing. I guess the only thing I have to say is that I was naive. I had read Autobiography of a Yogi and some of these other books that told us as spiritual seekers to be humble before somebody who would be regarded as a spiritual teacher or whatever. But Yogi Bhajan was just the worst of the worst. When I was in India, that's a whole another story. I was arrested on false charges there, and I was there for almost 2 years. I realized after talking to people and looking around, there's 10,000 Yogi Bhajans over there. There's so many of these Babas over there. They have an answer for everything. And they'll give you prosperity, wealth, and health and everything, and they just promise you the world if you do these different exercises and things like that. So Yogi Bhajan was not really that unique. Yogi Bhajan was unique in the sense that he was a good businessman, and he saw this opportunity when he came to the West, and he saw these very vulnerable and naive young people who were really seeking spiritual enlightenment, if you will, or spiritual lifestyle. So he really capitalized on that, and he really deceived us. Many of you have seen many of the videos that I've done. I came to realize, especially after meeting traditional Sikhs and starting to read this book, Sikhism and Tantric Yoga by Dr. Trilochan Singh, how Yogi Bhajan just abused and insulted the Sikh religion by making things up and saying that Guru Ram Das Ji was the fourth Sikh Guru, was carrying on this lineage of this Kundalini Yoga. It's just, Yogi Bhajan was a pathological liar, and it just really makes me angry that he used the Sikh religion in that way. You talk to any Sikhs, they'll tell you that yoga has no part in Sikhi. The Gurbani, which is the sacred text of the Sikhs, and is looked to for spiritual elevation and salvation, was completely twisted by Yogi Bhajan. Yogi Bhajan mistranslated and just twisted several shabads in Gurbani. He had them saying that Guru Ram Das was the king of yoga, meaning asanas and things like that. And in fact, they've capitalized on that up here at this yoga event they're having. They're calling it the Raj Yoga Festival. Raj Yoga Festival. And I think they're taking this from Gurbani, where it says Raj Yoga Takatiyan Guru Ram Das. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with yoga asanas. It means that Guru Ram Das was the spiritual and secular king. That's what Raj is. And yoga just means one with that. So it doesn't have anything to do with Yogi Bhajan's Kundalini yoga or Tantric yoga at all. But they have misappropriated that to, and Yogi Bhajan did that too. I have lectures where he talks about this so-called golden chain. And it's just complete nonsense. Where this is how he justifies the lineage of his Kundalini yoga so that it gives it more credibility and so people will follow it. So these are all objections that I have, criticisms that I've had, and I've had them for years. I've been protesting against this for at least 12 years. And many of you can watch my videos, my Facebook posts, and other social media posts, and you can see that I've done extensive research about this. Philip Deslep has also researched this. He's a PhD candidate, and he's done extensive research in his paper Maharaj Daman Tantric about this fake lineage that Yogi Bhajan made up. Now I understand up here at this so-called yoga festival up here that the Bhajanists are going to be bringing in this young man who professes that he met somebody who was Yogi Bhajan's teacher, or that knew Yogi Bhajan's teacher. Sounds like a lot of hearsay to me. This Santazara Singh is part of this lion yoga, which he says is part of Sikhi. And this young man is only in his 20s. He came to India on some trip with his parents, and he supposedly met these yogis, if you will, these lion yogis. And they say they're Sikhs or whatever. He says they said they're Sikhs. It sounds like very, very flimsy evidence to me. And there's no history at all of any kind of yoga within Guru Gobind Singh's army. This young man says that there's some lineage where the Guru Gobind Singh Ji's, who was the 10th Guru of the Sikhs, had a drummer who Guru Gobind Singh Ji assigned this task of carrying on this lineage of Kundalini yoga and all this. It's complete nonsense and has no real evidence that would show that this has any kind of credibility or standing at all. So anyway, I hope to talk to some of these people that drive by here, and I hope they talk to me about it, or deem to stop by and not just yell or scream at me as many of them do. I'm totally interested in discussion. I want to research these things, and I want to talk to them about why they feel the way they do. Anyway, so I could go on and on, but let's wait and see for more people to come. The sun's coming out now, coming through the clouds there, so it looks like we're going to have a beautiful day, and we'll give you updates from time to time. So I'll be posting this now. It's about, like I said, about a little after 8 a.m. on June 18th, 2022. Now this also, I want to just mention, this is the first time that these people have met since before the pandemic. So it's been several years now since they've all gotten together. So I think this should be a really interesting meeting. And my understanding is that there'll be other people who are who acknowledge the accounts of abuse. They'll be attending this yoga festival as well. Just kind of keep an eye on these hardcore bhajanists, as I call them, and make sure that they are not promoting their agenda of revitalizing Yogi Bhajan. Anyway, it's a big mess. And my idea is that they should just get rid of everything that has to do with Yogi Bhajan. I really think that Yogi Bhajan has done so much damage. People I've met here in Espanola that used to belong to 3HO, they've left 3HO, they've taken off their turbans or their dastars, they've cut their hair. Many, many people. I've even looked up on the public records in the courts. Many have changed their names to Christian names. Now you can see it. I mean, they file legal papers in order to change their names. So Yogi Bhajan has done a lot of damage. I think the best thing to do is just get rid of anything associated with him. They need to level that ranch there and just completely forget about him. There should be no memory of this guy at all. He was such a creep and such an abuser. Okay, so we'll keep updated on everything. Waigiji ka Khalsa, Waigiji ki Fateh.